Hello friends, in my previous video we have seen that if any company wants to raise funds either by way of strategic investor or from an investor or to bring in some just strategic partner, it is important to prepare the detailed memorandum of information of the company. Now in this video today we will talk about the term sheet. The very important and the first document with any prospective investor or a strategic partner or for any commercial transaction for that matter is the term sheet. Term sheet can be a binding term sheet or a non-binding term sheet. But even a non-binding term sheet is binding for that period which has been allotted in that term sheet, at least for the purpose of conducting the due diligence. It cannot be enforceable in the court of law, but the process is laid down and the process has to be honored. So, what are the contents, major contents of the term sheet? The most important thing is the valuation of that enterprise or of that division or of that stake which is under question or which is a part of the deal or that transaction. So the valuation has to be kept in mind while drafting the term sheet, because there should not be a very wide gap between the bid and offer or the expectations of receiving and the expectations of giving. So valuation may not be exactly the right number at which the deal will get struck, but at least the method of valuation, the process of valuation, the multiple of certain numbers, they have to be decided and listed in the noted in the term sheet. So when I say that after detailed discussions before the term sheet, it has been agreed in case of an existing company that the valuation will be in the range of 5 to 7 multiple of average EBITDA of last 3 years. So it is agreed. So it should be mentioned in the term sheet very clearly. Now actual number may differ, that what is the EBITDA after the due diligence, how the EBITDA numbers have been arrived at, because when a person will do due diligence or an agency or an auditor will be appointed, he may subtract or add many things from that profit of EBITDA which has been already shown as per his checking. So that may differ, but the base has been set. Now whether it is 7 or 5 or a middle number 6, that all will depend on the negotiations later on. So a broad method for arriving at the valuation with certain multiples of a certain numbers or adopting certain method has to be put down clearly in the term sheet. It is very important. Then comes what is the stake or what is the transaction actually. So suppose if the transaction is say, hiving off one particular division manufacturing such and such product of that company with so and so capacity and this thing. So that transaction, which is the major part of this term sheet, for which only the term sheet is being made, has to be clearly defined. Then comes the various items which are required for due diligence so as to culminate this term sheet into a definitive agreement or consummating the deal. Okay, so in case of due diligence, you have to clearly write in the term sheet what kind of due diligence the prospective investor or strategic partner is going to carry out. Is it technical due diligence, financial due diligence, HR due diligence, legal due diligence, marketing due diligence, or a combination of all, so that you as the person involved in the transaction know in advance what the preparations which you have to make. Secondly, it should also be defined and made clear that how this due diligence process is going to be carried out. Is it an in-house process which will be deployed, or some outside agency, some consultant, advisors, chartered accountants will be involved in it? And preferably names of few such entities, one out of them will be selected for this process. Next important thing in case of term sheet is, what is the time limit given for this entire process to complete, which can be called as long stop date, the closing date, so that within that period the term sheet can get culminated into an definitive agreement or conclusion of transaction. So say a period of 6 months, 9 months, 12 months, 2 years, depending upon the nature of the transaction, has to be clearly spelled. And what is the mechanism for the extension? Non-compete agreement, that once the deal is done, the existing company or the company involved in the transaction will not carry out similar business or the same business, or will not manufacture the same product or deal in it, or the same services and deal in it for a certain period of time, which can be 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, or indefinite. Depends on the deal, on the transaction. But it has to be clearly mentioned. Then there are several CPs and warranties. CP means condition precedent. There are certain conditions have to be fulfilled before concluding the transaction. And warranties and reps are for which the company undertakes to carry out within a reasonable period of time which has been defined. Then comes about the division of the staff, about the division of facilities, the common factors, how they are going to be divided. Then one more important thing is reserved matters, that during this interim period or even thereafter, in case the deal gets executed, which will be the matters, what will be the matters which will be reserved? It means which cannot be done without the consent of the prospective investor or a buyer or a strategic partner. There are several items. Composition of board, it has to be decided in advance and no change thereafter. You cannot buy or sell a major undertaking of the company. You cannot change the major product mix of the company. You cannot change or alter your marketing strategy, your markets. You cannot, I mean, a lot of things, like you cannot change the composition of your loans, the mix of your lenders. It can be a deal with no debt, no cash. In that case, you have to understand that all the debt, even after the deal, you are going to carry, not the person who is coming in, along with the working capital for running the business. Then, which are the terminologies which are going to be used in the final agreements? The term sheet is only for interim period, but it defines that in case the transaction takes place, what are the warranties, what are the representations, what are the CPs, how the transaction will take place, how the valuations will take place, and how the consideration will be passed on. Is it a all cash consideration? Is it a share swap consideration? I mean, consideration by way of swapping of shares, or partly by cash, partly by shares? If it is a part stake which is being taken over in this deal, what about the remaining stake? How in future the relationship will go along? Is there any exit route for the investor, or for that matter the company which has sold its division or its business? Is some part of the valuation has been left to be decided on certain happenings or certain performance? So, who will be the auditors of this company? Who will be the lawyers on behalf of each parties? Entire transaction will be carried through. All these things are listed in the term sheet. The more exhaustive and elaborate the term sheet is, the better it is for the sake of clarity of the transaction. Even the legal aspect, which rules and law will prevail, what will be the legal jurisdiction in case of any dispute, whether it is a arbitration or a single arbitrator arbitration or a three-party arbitration. Everything has to be defined. All pre-existing cases, law against the company, for the company, by the company, whether they are required to be disclosed at the time of term sheet or at least before the signing the definitive agreement. Whatever one can think of to avoid any kind of ambiguity to complete the transaction should be tried to be included in the term sheet. Some people may say that it is not advisable to include everything in the term sheet, only the broad understanding only should be listed. In that case, my view is that keep that period of those kind of term sheet shorter and enter into a binding detailed definitive agreement as quickly as possible. Otherwise the entire exercise will go waste, because there is no clarity in the transaction and all the labor and efforts which you put in may go waste. So I think these tips will help you in drafting a proper term sheet for the ultimate smooth execution of the transaction. Thank you.